Okay, let's start right here with this really powerful idea. See, immigrating isn't just about forms and fees. It's a huge test of your ambition, your drive, and your courage. So we're going to frame this whole process like a hero's journey, and you're the hero at the very center of that story.
Every great adventure starts with a map. So in this first part, we're going to get our bearings. We need to understand the landscape of the U.S. immigration system and get to know the key government agencies you're going to be dealing with.
Okay, so you're going to hear about three main agencies. Let's just quickly break down who's who. Think of USCIS as the agency that's actually reviewing and, hopefully, approving your application. They're your main point of contact. Then you've got ICE and CBP. They're basically the enforcers, making sure all the rules are being followed, both inside the US and at the borders when you enter.
Now, the very first choice you have to make is maybe the most important one. It's like you're standing in front of two doors. Is your plan to stay for a temporary, specific reason, like going to school or working on a project? Or is your goal to build a permanent life here? That one decision right at the start is going to shape your entire journey.
All right, so we get the two main doors, temporary versus permanent. Now, let's explore the four main pathways that lead through those doors. This is where we get into the details and start to figure out which route really fits your story.
First up, we have the path for students. The F1 and M1 visas are basically your ticket into U.S. schools. The process is pretty straightforward. You have to get accepted by a government-certified school. That's what SEVP-approved means. You got to show you have the money to pay for it all, and of course, you have to actually stay a full-time student.
Path number 2 is all about professionals bringing their skills into the U.S. workforce. For the really common work visas like the H-1B, which is so in demand it often has a lottery, the most important piece of the puzzle is having a U.S. employer to sponsor you. They're kind of like your partner in this whole process.
Now, path number 3. This is actually the most common way people get a green card, and it's all about family. The U.S. system really prioritizes keeping families together, so citizens and green card holders can sponsor their relatives to come and live in the States. And last but not least, path number 4 is for the investor, or as we're calling them, the builder. The EB-5 visa is really designed for people who are ready to make a major financial investment in a U.S. business. And, this is key, that business has to create at least 10 full-time jobs for American workers.
And just to give you a sense of the kind of commitment we're talking about without Investor Path, the current minimum is $800,000 in certain areas. It's a really substantial amount, which just shows how much this visa is focused on creating a big economic impact. Okay, deep breath. You've picked a path. Now comes the really important part, getting prepared. In this next section, we're going to talk all about your documents because being incredibly organized is, without a doubt, the foundation of a successful application. Think about it like this. Your documents are the evidence that proves your entire story. Your passport proves who you are. Your diplomas prove you're qualified. Your bank statements prove you can support yourself. Every single piece of paper is critical. There is just no room for mistakes here. So here is your mantra for this whole stage, and I want you to repeat it. Organize, digitize, and translate. Get in the habit of scanning every single document, make a simple filing system on your computer, and don't forget, anything that's not in English needs a certified translation. Every hero's journey has its traps and dragons, right? Well, this one is no different. It's not just about knowing what you should do, but also knowing what you should absolutely not do. So let's talk about the common mistakes that can completely wreck an application.
Okay, listen up, because this is a huge one. One of the most common and serious mistakes you can make. The date stamped in your passport is not your deadline to leave. The real, official date is on your I-94 record, and you need to check that online as soon as you arrive. Staying past that date can cause major problems for you down the road. The rule on working is super simple. Unless you have a specific piece of paper, an employment authorization document, you cannot work for money, period. That includes getting paid cash under the table or doing little gigs. Working without permission is a serious violation and can totally end your immigration journey. And of course, we've got to talk about scams. You have to know the red flags. A really important one to know is that in the US, a notario is not a lawyer. They can't give you legal advice. You have to be super careful with anyone who guarantees they can get you a visa or asks for cash only. Protect yourself. Only work with licensed immigration attorneys. You can check their license on their state's official bar association website.
All right, so you made it. You've navigated the whole process and you're here. That is a massive achievement. But the journey's not quite over. In this part, we're going to talk about how to maintain your legal status, because that is a day in, day out responsibility. Look, keeping your legal status isn't a one-and-done thing. It takes constant attention. That means you have to follow the specific rules of your visa, like if you're a student, you have to stay enrolled full-time. And for everybody, no matter your status, you have to file U.S. taxes, and you have to tell immigration if you move within 10 days. These are totally non-negotiable. And it's not just about your immigration paperwork. Building a solid financial life is a huge piece of the puzzle here. In the US, your credit score is everything. I mean, it affects whether you can rent an apartment, get a phone, or buy a car. Following these simple steps right from the start will set you up for success. And that brings us to the final leg of the journey for so many people, The path to citizenship. This is the process where you go from being a permanent resident to a full U.S. citizen, with all the rights and responsibilities that come with it. It's the ultimate goal.
The path to becoming a citizen, what's called naturalization, is a really clear step-by-step process. Just think of it like the final exam of your immigration journey. You generally need to have your green card for at least 5 years, show you're a person of good moral character, and then pass tests on U.S. history and government and on the English language.
Because at the end of the day, citizenship is so much more than just a passport, right? It's the ultimate security. It's the right to vote and have a voice in democracy. It's the freedom to travel. And it's that feeling of truly, fully belonging to your new home. So there you have it. We've laid out the entire map from that very first step all the way to the final destination. This whole legal journey, it really is a testament to your personal courage and your ambition. So stay organized, be careful, and never, ever lose sight of the incredible future that you are building.